Hey sis, welcome to Beyond the Military podcast, where faith-led military women overcome burnout and create more balance. Just imagine having enough time to focus on your faith, family, and have more fun while still serving as a woman leader. In this podcast, you will walk away with the tools to help you navigate the busy life of a military woman, organize your mind, overcome overwhelm, create a prioritization playbook, and a balanced blueprint for integrating faith, family, and career. Yes, sis, in that order. Hi, I'm Wendy Ray, woman of God, wife, mama of two, Army veteran, and certified life coach. And I'm here to help you create a life of meaning outside of the military, a life of laughter, joy, and intentional free time. If you are ready to overcome burnout and create balance as a faith-led military woman, sis, this podcast is for you. So loosen up your laces and grab your coffee because it's time to step into freedom and peace. Hello and welcome to episode 222. I am so happy that you're tuning in today. And if this is your first time tuning in, I want to welcome you. And if you've been tuning in with me for the last 220-ish episodes, I want to say thank you for your continued support. I am so happy about today's topic. Today, we are talking all about your transferable skills. So if you are possibly thinking about the transition, or you're like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with my career. First, I want to invite you to join me to my LinkedIn live event that I'll be hosting on June 19th, which is a Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we'll be doing is going over how you can start to identify your career after the military. And I want to emphasize that this is something that you don't have perfectly. I know a lot of you, especially speaking about myself here, I wanted to have a clear blueprint plan of what I was going to do when I was going to transition. But here is the beauty of figuring it out along the way, especially if you start early. If you're a year out, this is a beautiful time for you to start. And it's okay if you have 6 months out. I think this is another great area or place for you to begin to explore those opportunities, because you don't know what you don't know. You sometimes forget that there's so much experience that you've gained, and also your interests possibly have changed. So maybe you have a degree in criminal justice, and now you're like, I absolutely don't want to go into law or anything to do with criminal justice. Now I want to go to the business sector. What exactly is out there for me, right? Maybe you've been in for 10 years, or maybe you have only done, one tour, but you got your MBA. Or maybe you got in a position or a duty station that has nothing to do with your MOS, your military occupation. And so now you have this opportunity to look at, the opportunity that are in civilian sector, right? You could start your own business. You could do so many other things. And this is why I want to not only provide you a little snapshot of what that could look like for you based on your specific desires and your specific goals, career goals after the military, but also to help you with your career search, to help you and give you that initial step so that you can begin to explore other opportunities while you're still in, because you have 6 months out. And if you're 3 months out, it's okay too. We can start to not only look, but also apply. And so again, I want to invite you June 19th on a Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come join me live, ask me questions, or if there's anything on your mind regarding the transition, that time is perfect for you to kind of understand where you stand so that you can continue to plan the rest of the time that you do have. Or even if you're thinking about the transition, what the opportunities could be. So come and identify your future career role after the military, because ladies, there's so many things out there that I am still learning along the way and have been out for like the last 7 years. And so again, this is going to be key for you to begin and start your career search outside of the military. And with that, I want to go over today on what the most or the top transferable skills are for you, especially if you're like, I don't want to do anything similar or nothing like what I was doing in the military, right? You may be an aircraft controller. You may be a mechanic. You may be a 92 golfer in the food service industry, or you may be HR. You're like, I no longer want to go HR. I want to do something completely different. And I want to invite you to have an open mind when it comes to identifying the top transferable skills, which today I want to give you 2 ways that you can begin to explore, like, where you can find these transferable skills, because that's one of the things that I get asked whenever I'm having a consultation with someone when they come to me and they're like, "Hey, I would like to kind of learn more about what's going to help me with my transition because this is what I want to pursue." And so first I ask them, "Well, what are the skills that you've identified, or what exactly do you think you're going to be doing in this opportunity, in this position?" And so most of the time they don't know, or also they're like, "Well, I have no idea what top transferable skills, I bring to the table, what value I bring." And so I want you to start there. And I want you to begin with your evaluations, either your non-commissioned, your NCOERs evaluations, or your OERs, your officer evaluation reports. And the reason this is so important for you to start here is because you get to see not only what other leaders have said about your supervisors, said and identified within each category from your performance evaluation, but also for you to really recognize and identify, what positions you enjoy the most, right? Because it's like, let's say you were first sergeant or a commander and you're like, "I completely hated that position. I want to do something that's more along the lines of just being more specific and more of an individual contributor as a leader." Then maybe that's not something that we want to highlight and continue to explore in the civilian sector, because it might not be helpful for you and the people that you're leading. And so I want you to start there. Again, this is more specific to the Army. So if you're like Air Force, Marine Corps, I'm sure there's another fancy name that you guys have for evaluations, but essentially look at your performance evaluation. And the other thing is, if let's say you only did 4 and you're an E4, or you didn't get an opportunity to get an actual NCOER or a non-commissioned evaluation report, non-commissioned officer evaluation report, and that's completely okay. What I want you to do then is to ask your mentor or your supervisors, previous supervisors, your immediate leadership, for their take on what the top skills that you possessed while you were in those jobs. And so I want to go over to help you a little bit of what common or the top transferable skills are that are going to help you regardless of what background you have, or, what job you did in the military. Because in the civilian sector, here are the 5 ones, or the 5 common skills that are not only needed, but also they are looking for with specific roles. And I also want to mention too that there are hard skills, also known as technical skills. These are the skills that are needed, required, like knowledge or even just training, a certification for that specific job role. And so I'm not going to go too much into that. More so the soft skills. A lot of the soft skills are being overlooked by us military because we're like, "Oh, this is common, right? Like, this is what we need to do in the military in order to succeed." But you'd be surprised of how some of these skills don't come naturally or are not ingrained early on in the corporate sector. And it's not because of, they obviously are great at what they do with their work, but the teamwork and collaboration sometimes is not as needed as it is in the military, right? Like, we're all about teamwork. We're all about, doing things as teams and collaborating and encouraging one another, motivating your team and just getting after it, right? We have this competitive nature of, we want to do the best. We're going to do our best to bring our team along, right? And we build this trust, we build this community. And that's just the nature of our environment, of the military. And so when it comes to these 5, effective communication, teamwork, adaptability, problem solving, and leadership, we sometimes forget, especially as women, that we have so much experience in this. We have not only led teams that, range from a 5, squad leader, squad, you've been a squad leader, from a platoon company equivalent number. So we're talking about 200 individuals that we've led. And not only that, but just the physical and mental capacity capacity that we have when it comes to being adaptable, right? Adapting to any environment, to any team, because let's face it, we are a diverse group when we're in the military. I mean, we have people come from all over the world, all over the country. And so when we have that experience and have been in a group of, such a diverse, with such diverse backgrounds, it's a lot easier for us to forget and oversee that this isn't something that is typically known outside of the military. And the other big one is the problem solving, right? Like we sometimes forget that we have to solve even, the little things, right? Like, where is this one individual? Why isn't this individual here on time? Or, why isn't this individual able to come to training or this field training exercise, right? Maybe this person is injured. And so again, we know everything about our team. There isn't any, anything that we do not know. We know that they are medically hurt or are physically hurt, or, they're going through a medical obstacle. Family, maybe they're having like a family issue, and we know that, right? Like that's just something this is what we do in the military. We take care of our soldiers, we take care of one another, and we know what is happening in each other's lives. And so again, when we can not only expose this and communicate this in a way that's going to help us, right? Maybe you're looking to be an operations manager, maybe you're looking to be a plant manager, a supervisor in an environment where you are needed, 24/7, or you are on call 24/7, let's just say, and it's a very demanding opportunity where you're constantly being called in, no matter what time of the day. That's normal for us, right? Like we are constantly, in a space where we're going to get a phone call. One of our soldiers did something, that was not supposed to be done, or one of our soldiers got injured, or, this is happening real time at our unit because we're functioning 24/7. So this is normal to us. It's not something that is out of the ordinary because we're so used to this. And so being able to identify that is key. And so I want you to start there, right? Like, how do I identify these top transferable skills? And the part that I gave you, I want you to go over. It's like, am I an effective communicator? Communication, right? Teamwork. Where have I shown, and how many times have I shown teamwork, adaptability, problem solving, leadership? And an example that I'm going to give you right now is, again, based off an NCOER or an OER. And so when you go down each category, we have achieves, professionalism, pretty much your military bearing, right? Like, I want you to really take a moment and identify with one that you think will help you in your civilian sector, which all of them will. But which one are you going to value the most based on where you want to go, right? Based on what your future career goals are. And I'm just going to give you my example, right? I'm a project manager. And if you're going into operations or anything similar, project management, project coordinator, you know that you need to have obviously communication skills, right? You need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to work effectively with other teams. And these could be teams that are global. You need to be able to adapt, right? When things change, maybe your budget changes or your timeline, gets cut in half. And, you need to be able to adapt to that. Problem solver, how are you going to solve something without having to not only indulge in everything that comes along with it, right? All the emotions, but also how are you able to actually bring a solution to the table in a manner where it's not only professional, but also helpful for everyone on the team. And, how are you going to show that leadership skill, right? And so I also want to provide you with other things that may be coming up where a lot of the time we forget about the emotional intelligence that we bring to the table too, right? So negotiated. We negotiated before. Of course we have. We probably haven't negotiated, money that we actually have, but we have negotiated, timeline. We've negotiated different types of amounts when it comes to a field exercise, right? Something that like a large magnitude when it comes to how much we actually are able to spend, right? Because most of the time we're worried about spending more than saving, because the military gives us a budget. The military says, here is your fiscal budget and you need to spend it, right? So we're not focused on saving, we're focused on spending. But how are we spending that, or how we spent that in a way that serves the unit, the organization, your team, and everyone else around us? And so, how can we then bring the emotional intelligence into that? And negotiating is one of them, right? Like you have to be able to really get to somebody else's um, level of how they are understanding or how you're understanding their emotions, right? Collaboration. Have you trained or mentored somebody? And so these are just additional that I want you to like pay attention to when you are reading your NCOERs, your OERs. Have you showed compassion, right? Have you encouraged? Have you motivated? Have you been resilient? Or maybe during one training exercise. Like these are the things that you want to recognize so that it can help you to identify these top transferable skills, which again, these are only 5. There are like honestly like 20 that you could think of. And most of these skills are going to align with other opportunities. And so I'm going to give you this example here that I wrote down. And this is just a bullet from the Achieve section. Reviewed risk assessments for all training and ensured adherence, resulting in 0 training incidents. That right there has given you not only the transferable skills that we went over, but also to include more so like the safety management, risk assessment, right? So now what roles would you be able to do if, like, let's just say we're going off of that one bullet that you're like, this is the job that I loved. This is one of the bullets that really not only meant a lot, but, it was a top evaluation. I was rated the best. You could be a risk assessment manager. You can be a compliance specialist. Looking at those roles is going to help you to even communicate more on your resume on what you've done, what skills are actually transferable from your experience. And so again, being able to use that, being able to identify that from your own work, from your own performance evaluations, it's key. Like you can start there. You could literally take an hour and just go look at all your evaluations, your performance evaluations, identify the jobs that really resonated with you and you did really well, and just look at those bullets and see what skills you can bring out and see what jobs would align with that. And that's what I do with my clients. I help them to see, okay, this is your top evaluation. Let's talk about this one. What did you enjoy about this? Oh, you enjoyed to report data. You enjoyed to work with other teams globally. You enjoyed to, make sure that the team was taken care of and that they developed and that, they stayed in the military, right? You help them re-enlist. Whatever it may be for you, I want you to go there first. And then if you want to take it a step further, like I said, in step 2, or if you don't have any evaluations, I want you to then ask your supervisors, like, hey, sir, ma'am, or sergeant, what 3 skills would you say are my top skills that I have brought to the table? And, oh, you're a great communicator. Oh, you work well with others. You are, proactive, all of these things that you can be annotating so that when you do start looking at roles and you start identifying what skills you bring to help you with that next role. Because let's face it, not all of us are going to do what we were doing in the military out in the civilian sector. And that's completely okay. What we want to do is to start identifying what skills are going to be transferable so that we can then start leaning in to the stories, because that's the next thing that comes is your interview, right? Once you've got the resume and your foot in the door, you want to prepare as much as possible with stories that are going to not only resonate with the hiring managers, with maybe, the panel that you interview with, but also how can we then speak about who you really are, personality, the emotional intelligence behind the skills that you bring. All right. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you would like to learn more, come follow me on LinkedIn. Send me a DM with the word career, and I'll be happy to connect with you and not only share more about what will help you with your transition, but also any recommendations on future live events that are going to help you with your career outside of the military. All right, ladies, I hope to see you on June 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to help you identify your career role. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Hey lady, if this podcast helped you, challenged you, or inspired you in some way, please leave me a written review for the show on Apple Podcasts and share it with another military sister. Helping you integrate balance, prioritization, and growth in your relationship with God is my ultimate calling. I'm so blessed that you are here, and please join us in the Faith-Led Military Women community on Facebook at bit.ly/Beyond the Military GRP. Again, it is bit.ly Beyond the Military GRP. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.